Most people don't understand really what soul fragments are, and just about everybody that I've ever met has them, a lot of them. So today we're going to explore what soul fragments really are from Archangel Gabriel's perspective. I'll be channeling her and how we can begin to integrate those aspects of us back. So thank you and welcome. I'm Erica Van Eaton. I'm your host, and let's play. Remember, your soul is big and you are trillions of atoms of energy. Like literally, you're nothing but energy. You are in a particle wave state, you're in an energy wave state, you are multidimensional, meaning that your soul resides in many different dimensions at the same time because of the frequencies, the different kinds of frequencies that you hold all at the same time. It can be best understood maybe if you think about it from like a child that is crying because they stub their toe, but then a sibling maybe makes them laugh at the same time. So they're crying and laughing at the same time. So they're holding two very different vibrations at the same time. Imagine that, with yourself. So you've got like thousands of these different frequencies running through you, from you all the time. Subconscious ones are running frequencies, your conscious minds, your thoughts, the emotions that you're feeling, the experiences and interactions you're having with other people. Now, with every experience that you have, we have things like choice points of how we're going to move through an experience. Let's say you get into a car wreck and you come out of the car wreck either feeling like a victim to being hit by another car or bathed in shame because you maybe hit another car, or you can choose, this is the choice, to be empowered by that experience and decide that maybe this happened for a reason. Maybe I need to learn, I needed to really be shook up and to be more present, or I need to learn forgiveness for the other driver. Whatever it may be, we have these choices, but there can be pieces of our consciousness, like a little cloud of energy comes out of us that decides to travel down a different path of, even if you're choosing empowerment, maybe there's a piece of you that is still choosing shame or victim mentality. And that becomes a soul fragment that gets kind of locked in the time loop, meaning when frequency doesn't change, is just a circle because there's no shifting happening. If you go into a car wreck and you decide with your whole being that this is an empowerment moment for you, that you're going to utilize this for your highest and best, and your whole being's on board, you're not having, self doubt or whatever, then your energy just shifted into a higher vibrational timeline, into like a parallel reality in which this is working for you, not against you. So that energy is moving forward in a new direction. If you get hit by the car and you fall into victim mentality or shame, and that consumes you, consumes your thoughts, consumes your emotions, you get locked into that experience. There's a soul fragment that gets locked into that experience, and it just becomes this loop because you're not choosing to learn from it. And sometimes it takes time. I mean, we've all been caught in loops. Sometimes it takes time to integrate the lesson that's available for us to learn from it. So that loop is a soul fragment. And even though you go on and live your life, if you haven't healed that trauma or that experience, shifted perspective, that piece of your soul becomes a fragment and gets caught in this rotating loop until you go back and heal that experience. And we're going to get into how that healing can be so much easier than we thought it could be here towards the end. I'll take you through an experience. That's the main kind of soul fragment. And then we have all the other traumatic experiences, even if they're not what we would normally consider trauma. Maybe you got yelled at by a teacher. You know what? I had this soul fragment that I had to heal one time. For example, when I was growing up, I was super athletic and very competitive from a very young age. I remember in first grade, we cut out these snowflakes and we hung them from our class ceiling. This was in the classroom. And the teacher specifically said, do not jump up and knock the snowflakes down. But of course, she said that and kids are going to try it. Some of the girls were jumping up. They couldn't touch them. The boys were jumping up and a few of them could touch them. And one of them said, I bet you can't touch them. And me being super competitive and driven, I was like, yes, I can. And I jumped up and I knocked one down. I got in trouble and I got my name on the board with a check mark. And I felt so much shame because I had always been the good girl in school. I'd always been the teacher's pet. the one who followed directions and the one that was liked. That was a soul fragment that was bathed in shame. And she just kept rotating around, and it perpetuated this need to please and be a people pleaser. That is a soul fragment that I had to go back and retrieve. And when we are working on retrieving a soul fragment, all we're doing is shifting the vibration of the loop. So it doesn't mean you have to go into the full story of the origin point of that loop or, rescript the entire thing. What you want to be able to do is learn how to accept an experience for what it was, and that will allow for the reintegration. Again, I'm going to walk you through this towards the end of the video here. Now, curiosity can cause soul fragments. At some point in your life, you had wondered what it's like to live out a different kind of existence. And it doesn't have to be out of lack or unworthiness or anything like that. It can just be a curiosity. I wonder what my life would be like if I took this risk and I went and lived in Bali. I wonder what it would feel like. At those times when there's a lot of curiosity there can be a part of your energy that goes and takes that risk, a soul fragment, to go live out that experience in Bali. And that is more like a parallel reality, another version of you that gets in this other timeline, in this other reality, living this other kind of existence. And you're not necessarily consciously aware that you're doing it. Not all soul fragments need to be healed. Not all soul fragments need to reintegrate. Let that version of you live out in Bali. Now that I took you through that example, there's a version of me that wants to go live in Bali. Not everything needs to be healed. Not everything needs to be integrated. Now you can learn to play with those parallel realities and download the information from those. But all of this is what we're going to be learning in the Unity method. So the Unity method was birthed through my oldest son, who took me through this decades-long process of creating internal unity consciousness, learning how to heal, and becoming a master creator of our reality together through internal unity consciousness by breaking down barriers of resistance to self. So anything that I share is from the perspective of wholeness and integration and acceptance. And when we come at it from that angle, because there's a million different angles that we can do everything, but when we come at it from the angle of acceptance, it releases resistance to integrating these soul fragments. It releases resistance to playing in the quantum field, even because the mind's not fighting us to just let go and play. It's easier to sink into the subconscious. It's easier to heal the body because there's a trust with the body. I'm going to be teaching the Unity method. It begins September 12th. Right now, it's just a 2-part class, but it's a living course. I already know that I'm going to be adding a 3rd module in October. I haven't even wrote that down yet. Anytime you enroll in it, you have it forever. And every time I teach it, you get it again for free. And I know that this is something that I'll be teaching many times. And so it will be continually being added on to, and the price will go up. And there are added in activations, MP3s to use alongside each module. But the Unity method is a process of self-acceptance and self-love. And through that, we can create anything. My son's whole reason for being here, my oldest son that was born with Down syndrome and autism, the overarching theme of his life is unity. He needed help becoming unified with his body. He lives here, but he lives on the other side of the veil at the same time. He's bridging 2 different realms, actually many, many different realms in unity. He coexists with us in unity. And it doesn't mean he's lost himself. It actually means that he knows who he is and he accepts who we are. Through the internal unity process, you're learning how to be present with self. When you are present, again, think about you are nothing but energy. So when we are present, when we are in a place of acceptance, releasing resistance to self, all of our energy turns around and comes back home. So if there are soul fragments caught in time loops that are ready to be healed, then we can easily reintegrate those back into us, deleting that time loop, because these soul fragments that are caught in these lower vibrational time loops, they tend to pull our energy back so patterns can re-arise because we're tied into these loops. Soul fragment healing is a big part of unity consciousness, is internal unity consciousness. It's this self-acceptance. It helps change our mental dialogue. It helps change our relationship with our body, our relationship with our cells, and how our cells integrate and connect to each other. And through this, we are freeing up our energy. This is all about freeing up our energy, which allows us to untether from the programs and the lies and the beliefs that are not serving us in an expanded way. Meaning, if I'm wanting to expand the truth of who I am, so we all have these source codes. If I'm wanting to expand the truth of who I am, then that means I'm wanting to play with earth in my body in a way that feels joyful, in a way that has impact of upliftment, of harmony. Because I'm just like, we know if we hit a strand of DNA with negative thoughts and emotions, it coils up to protect itself. And when it coils up, codes of light shut down. And that's when disease states occur. So if you hit their music therapy with high vibrational tones with DNA, we know that that starts to help heal the DNA, and disease states can decrease, lessen, or go away completely. That's what energy healing is. So if we are releasing our energy from the programs that are running in the field of the collective, from our cultures, from our societies, from our families, from whomever was in our environment growing up, that logged into our subconscious mind, limiting beliefs about ourselves on who we can and can't be. We are unraveling our energy, untethering our energy from these programs in the field, which gives us free particles of energy to create in the quantum field with. If I'm not resisting myself, if I'm accepting myself, then I get to move into the quantum field, which is infinite potentials. This is how I have doubled, tripled my business every year. It's not through working harder. It's through untethering programs in the field. Through this process has gifted me clarity on what next steps are, because there's more potentials for next steps that are uplifting when I let go of how I think it should be or how I thought it could, the only way it could be based off of programming. When we have this free particles of energy, we have clarity, intuitive guidance increases dramatically. All your energies right home. This self-trust allows for you to feel what's right for you, hear what's right for you. And what's right for you is whatever your true desire is in your heart space. When you free up all this energy, you're really limitless in what you can create and how you can play here. This method is how I created my business and allow it to ebb and flow and grow every year without requiring more of my time, so I can be present with my kids. My kids use this to manifest the kind of experiences they want to have, the kind of friendships they want to have. And it's turning back into the heart to be able to have your soul's desire begin to expand. So you feel purpose, you feel driven, and it all comes from your soul, because your soul has been freed up now through internal unity to present itself in a way that it came here to do. But it can't do that as well. And it can be very difficult to know what your true desires are if your energy is all over the place and not present within. If you're resisting yourself, your intuition, your instincts, if you're resisting your soul, if you're deeming yourself unworthy and you're fighting your mind, this is a process to bring everything back home, to bring everything in for self-love. If you don't want to take the course, the book is there. It'll be coming out in the beginning of October. So now let's go into a short little process to bring home soul fragments. Take a breath. In through the nose if you can, down to wherever your body will allow the breath to go to. And then allow yourself to exhale. And breathe again. And on the inhale, attempt to make the inhale and your breath just a little bit slower than you normally would. Now this is where we're going to play pretend. I want you to turn on your pretend goggles and imagine an experience that wasn't great, and take a breath with as much intention as you can. Breathe into that experience and just accept this is something that happened. And I want you to accept that this is something that happened. I don't need the full story. I don't need to know why. It just did. Now breathe that experience down into your belly. Accepting whatever emotions arise, let them arise again without having to explain. I accept, I breathe, and I pull this energy up through me into my heart. So through this self-acceptance process, through this very little reunity process we just did, can you feel your mind relaxing because you're not trying to fight your thoughts? You're just accepting. Can you feel your body stay relaxed as you reintegrate this energy that is you? Because you're not trying to validate or invalidate the story or change the story. You're just accepting the story. And then you can begin to feel that timeline loop dissolve. It's deactivating in your field. And then all this energy is coming back home. We work it up from the base, our safety net, our home, and our body, from the base of our spinal cord, where that inferior mesenteric nerve plexus resides in the root chakra. And we work this, whatever it is, up through the body's systems, anchoring the sense of self-acceptance, that I'm not rejecting myself, and I'm also not scared to feel this or to digest this energy. And I'm bringing it up into my heart space. And now you might feel, you might not, but there's a lot of energy in your heart that is now unprogrammed. And now you can create whatever it is you want. You have this free energy to create a new vision. Allow yourself to put maybe a white screen up, and with your whole intention, what do you want to feel? What do you want to experience? And you may not know what you want to experience, but you know what you want to feel. I want to feel fun. I want to laugh. I want to feel peace. I want to feel abundant. What do you want to feel? Sometimes during this little spot, people feel a little angry. Great. Use that anger to drive what you really freaking want into the field. No matter freaking what, I want to feel this. I want to experience this. Let that drive you. It's okay. Again, we're not fighting ourselves. We're utilizing every emotion that we've been gifted as a human. That is our birthright, to be used for good. Use it. Breathe it. Accept it. Okay. Thank you for playing with me. If you feel guided to join the Unity Method, the link is going to be in the description. I would love to see you there. If you want to share this with anybody that you can tell is stuck in a loop that needs just a little bit of help, share this, and you can comment down below how this felt for you. I am so incredibly grateful to have you, to play with you. So much love.